Hello everyone, this is Charles Folkard. It's December 28th, 2016 in the early morning, and I wanted to bring with you something I've been looking at for a while here about how they use the bathroom, just how they use the bathroom on the ISS. And it's pretty interesting. I think you will agree, but before I do that, I want to bring you here. I want to give you the meaning of evidence. Evidence is the available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. So we're going to look at some of the evidence that is provided to us by the Actornauts and the actressnauts on the ISS. And I've been involved in the law. I'm not a licensed attorney or anything, but I've spent quite a few hours looking at the law and being involved in the courtroom and stuff. And one thing I learned a while ago is that all of the evidence that the prosecutor or the other side or the opponent is going to use against you, you provide. You provide all the evidence that will be used against you in a court of law to convict you of breaking the law or doing something wrong. And it's no different here with the Actornauts and the actressnauts on the ISS. They provide us with all the evidence that we need to determine whether what they're saying is true or not, whether what we're being told is actually reality. Okay, I think you got that, so let's move on. So here we are at Wikipedia, because all of you spinning spirits always have to have a reliable source, and I have found that people think Wikipedia is a reliable source. So here we are, and I'm sorry for the topic, but we're going to have to look into this a little bit, because you're going to find out here in a minute that how important it is. Anyway, here's anal cleansing. Anal cleansing is the hygienic practice of cleaning the anus directly after defecation. The anus and the buttocks may be either washed with liquids or wiped with toilet paper or other solid materials. In many European, Muslim, Hindu, and Sikh cultures such as Southeast Asia, and I lived in Southeast Asia for quite a while, water is usually used for anal cleansing using a jet, as with a bidet, or splashed and washed with the hand. Some people follow this up with toilet paper afterwards for drying purposes. So I want you to keep that in mind as we watch the actressnauts and the actornauts explain to us the use of the outhouse or the bathroom on the space station.
We also have here, it's called a WC, but if you notice, it's actually an outhouse, and really that's what it is. It's just a bathroom.
Okay, I want you to keep in mind here now that this actressnauts, she's in the outhouse. She's in the bathroom of the ISS, where many of the crew members use the bathroom. And she's putting her hands all over the bathroom floor and all over that part. And now watch it here. Look what she does with her finger of her left hand. She puts it on her eye. Now, I don't know about you people, but I've done a lot of camping. I've owned some trailers, and my members of my family had to use the restroom as I did. And I'm sure you're aware of the floor and the area around the toilet bowl is not somewhere I'd want to be putting my hands and you'll notice she's not wearing any gloves. And then she goes and puts her hand, her left hand, her finger on her eye. Like I said, all the evidence they give, all the evidence that we're going to get that proves that what they are trying to get us to believe is either true or not. And this is just another little piece of evidence.
Hello, and welcome to the toilet of the International Space Station. Let's say you're up here on ISS and you need to go to the restroom. You want to come to this cabin, and the first thing you want to do is grab this piece of equipment and turn this rotary switch 90 degrees to the open position. What that does is it turns on a fan, which creates a suction effect in this hose so that you can use this yellow element for your number one. For number two, the principle is actually exactly the same, suction. We have a solid waste container here, and on top of it is this seat. And the solid waste container is connected via this hose to the same fan, so that, again, the same suction effects allows you to do your number two in weightlessness. I want to show you how it looks, but since we don't want any bad smells to come out, we're going to actually turn on the fan. It's going to be a little bit loud. There we go. Now you can lift the lid. There is this seat that sort of looks comfortable, but you don't really sit in weightlessness. So most of us actually prefer to lift this one as well and use directly the opening that goes into the bag. And in fact, there is a bag in there. It looks like this. And when we are done with our business, we close the bag and we push it down into the solid waste container. And then, of course, as a courtesy to the next person, we put a new fresh bag inside. The solid waste container gets changed when it's full, which is roughly every 10 days for a crew of 3 people using it. This one, for example, was installed on the 61st day of this year. So probably roughly around day 71, we will have to change it again. But urine gets recycled. So from the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind the pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind.
Yeah, but you know, it's a robust system, it's not complicated. Yeah, but you know, it's a robust system, it's not complicated. Yeah, but you know, it's a robust system, it's not complicated.
The pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind here and makes the use of the toilet in space possible, the urine actually gets directly transferred to another piece of equipment which is here in the floor, which is called UPA, Urine Processing Assembly, which is the first step into turning urine into potable water.
Alrighty, did you notice anything that wasn't there? What she didn't mention at all. But before I get to that, you be thinking about that. What didn't she mention? Look at this. This is an Erasmus Center production. Copyright 2015. This is a production, people. They're putting on a production. They're making a movie for us, and they're using actresses and actressnauts and actornauts. What they didn't show, they didn't say one single word about hygiene. Not a word. There's no bidet. There's no water cleanup. There's no paper. There's nothing. They just go in there and they do their bowel movement and they eliminate their urine, and they don't have to wash their hands because they're in outer space. They're in weightlessness. So keeping your hands clean isn't important. And some of you people still believe that this is real. Okay, this next part I'm going to show you is where they pretend to be working on something underneath the outhouse or the restroom. And I didn't put all the clip in here. There was a part where they were in the two of the Actornauts and an actressnauts were inside the water closet, and they were pretending that there was a problem, and they were just laughing their asses off. You know, you can't hear what they're saying, but anyway, I didn't want to make the video too long, so I didn't include that. You can go look for it. It's on one of the NASA videos. But this next part here, they're going to show you where they're underneath the outhouse and they're cleaning. They're trying to fix it. There's a problem. Of course, it's not complicated, or it is complicated. So you make your choice. And that one guy, he's the one that told us that they have magnetic levitation. And I don't know if he was supposed to mention that or not, but that guy, he's given us more evidence to show that this is fake than I think he's gonna. I don't know. It's just funny. That guy's an idiot. But this next part is they're going to work on underneath, and you look at it and you tell me if it's complicated or not. But what I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, is look at they're wearing gloves underneath, but they didn't wear gloves inside the outhouse or the water closet, whatever you want to call it.
As we wait for the crew to get ready to start this simulation, let's take an opportunity while the simulation screen is a little bit on the stagnant side to look at some more video that was required earlier today as Akihiko Hoshide continued work on replacement of the dose pump that's associated with the waste and hygiene compartment on board the International Space Station, essentially the toilet that's on the U.S. side of the space station. Again, it's identical to the toilet on the Russian side of the space station, so there's commonality among the different parts, such as this one that's being replaced by Hoshide.
Yeah, but you know, it's a robust system. It's not complicated.
The pretty complicated hydraulic equipment that is behind.
Liquid wastes are recovered and recycled into the drinking water that the crew uses on orbit, as well as for the generation of oxygen and for normal hygiene activities such as washing up, normal hygiene activities such as washing up, normal hygiene activities such as washing up, in addition to rehydrating food that needs to be rehydrated so that the crew can eat it, and also hydrating different beverages. As some previous crews have described it, it's yesterday's coffee becomes tomorrow's coffee, and so that recycling system helps minimize the amount of resupply that's necessary in terms of water to the International Space Station. Nearly 80% of all of the water on the space station is recycled through this system right now.
In the water that would be harmful to us. That's how we test it out. This is actually a container that has urine in it, and we get that from the Russians, and we put that then into our recycling system, our water recycling system. So first it goes into the urine processor, and then from there it goes into the water processor to make us drinking water. We're drinking the urine coming from these ones. We also have it's called a WC, but if you notice, it's actually an outhouse, and really that's what it is. It's just a bathroom. And again, so the urine that we use in here also, it gets recycled, and then so we actually have quite a green little system up here. And we recycle quite a bit of all the fluids that are used up here, I guess. The condensation, our sweat, everything gets all set back into the system and used again. So for the bathroom, you know, they call the bathroom the can. There's a reason why we call it a can, because here it is right here. There's a can, and that definitely is a can full of crap, literally. And so that's what happens. You can sit here when you want to use it for that version of it, and basically there's a little bit of suction that comes down there to help keep pretty much the smell from coming up and everything else from coming up while you're using it. And we use little packets here that fit into the hole that fits on top here. These packets go in here. You use one of these packets, of course, and when you're done with the packet, you wrap it up and push it back in there, and about every 8-9 days that becomes full, and we put a new one in. That also gets then thrown down in the PMM for our trash, and hopefully on a cargo vehicle that's all done, that's going to burn up on the way in, we put those on there and it's done. For urination, you got to go there. Of course, that's white, yellow. It's a standard, it's a suction. Basically, there's almost like a wet back in the back here, that's the way I look at it. And so it separates, it has suction on it, and it separates the water and the air inside there, the urine in the air. And the urine, of course, goes to the urine processor. The air gets a little bit filtered and sent back out again. And that's the way. So it's a nice system. It actually works quite well. We had some issues early on, but now it's been working really, really well. Knock on wood. Exactly for that. We're happy about that. Yeah, but you know, it's a robust system. It's not complicated. It was probably built 40 some years ago, or designed, and it still seems to work pretty well. Yeah, we're happy with it. Besides that, we have equipment again over here. Is more of the
nice and warm. Go to the corner. Cut it open so it makes sort of like a little spray nozzle, so I can squirt it straight on. Ooh, that works well. Okay, we got the beans and rice, and now I'm making steak. What am I going to do with that in the meanwhile?
Hope you found this useful. If you disagree or if you have any comments, you can leave them below. I want to thank you for watching. Please share, subscribe if you like. And may the grace of Yahweh be with us all, because we certainly need it. And don't forget to embrace the love of the truth. See ya.